family. This is Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. I didn't expect for my phone to actually act right because it's been acting crazy for me to do my couch conversation from here. So I've been trying to put all my stuff together, but now that it's acting right, I'm going to talk a little bit. But I finally picked out the 15 stations that I want to be broadcasting to on my restream. Well, platforms. Let me say platforms because I said stations. But 15 platforms that I want to start streaming to on the regular. Like on Wednesdays, when I do the couch conversation, um, I might switch the days up. I might. And then on Saturdays, to be more real teen talk show, I was telling the guy Rock because he has about 20 kids that he worked with, and those are the kids that y'all be seeing like behind us. I do that's on my little posters and stuff like that. But anyway, um, I want to get this thing when I start streaming again. I wanted to just go all out. If you understand what I'm saying, this is something that I want to do until it gets to that point that I can basically, from what I'm working with, I'll be having my own like studio shows. I will producing my own stuff. Now, mind you, this is not something that I planned for. It's not. But it's like God got me moving in this area, and I'm just trying to be obedient. And some of the stuff at 60 years old, it's like I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but I pray and I ask God to guide me. Help me understand what He's trying to show me what to do as far as what to do. Right. Um, I want to share this. Uh, y'all know, y'all know that I fight to help reduce the violent criminal behaviors in Baltimore City, the homicide rate and all that stuff. Right. The other night, I went to the event that Ivan Bates gave. That's my man. I met Ivan Bates back in 2017 when I started um, the. It's called A New Be More City today, but back in 2017 when the 343 got killed, homicides for the inner city people, right? That's how I met Ivan Bates because I would call him, the fight that I do as far as trying to help around the city. I ended up meeting him, and I would call him like with legal stuff, wanting to have a better understanding of certain things, right? And he would feed me a lot. He would feed me, basically had my back. If I was given community monthly meetings and stuff like that, him and Wesley West would show up, and they supported a lot of what I did as far as trying to help our city, right? So this is nothing new to me. But anyway, the other night when I went to that function, it was the commissioner there. It was Anthony Brown. Um, I don't know if that was the lieutenant or something like that, Anthony Brown. But anyway, he's in a new position now. But all of them are lawyers. All of them understand the law and stuff like that, right? But what I'm trying to get to is, and it's not to knock nobody, y'all. It's not to knock nobody. But I'm gonna tell y'all this: when you have people that understand, to me, from what I'm getting, they know the law, they know how to apply the law. When you commit crimes, they know what better fits for that crime that you did, right? And that's what I was hearing the other night. I wasn't hearing too much about, well, we can do this right here to help slow this down, or to stop this right here, or to stop that. I wasn't hearing that. And be honest with y'all, I got angry. I got angry because it's like we understand the crisis that Baltimore City is going through. And when you got people that don't really, it's like they act like, to me, they don't really understand the life and the journey of, I'm gonna say, your criminal, or your let me find the right word, your most vulnerable people that's not being treated fair in life, period. So I wasn't hearing nothing more like what we can do to kind of work and slow this down. But what really pissed me off, they fixed it where couldn't nobody say nothing. This one judge that was there that go to Hubert Memorial, she was reading off cards from what people wrote. And I jumped up out my seat because I wanted to ask some serious stuff. I ain't trying to, and now I understand, don't get it wrong. If you break the law, you deserve everything you supposed to get. But I was not hearing anything in progress of what we can do to help, prevent this or slow this down or slow that down. I wasn't hearing it. And I realized, for me, that's what I do, because I am active within the community, or just say the work that I do with my business is all built around, I'm sorry, helping to change our people's lives. The 26th of this month, right? I will have 30 years clean from a destructive lifestyle. When I got clean back in 1993, people walked me through my process. They said, we're going to love you until you learn how to love yourself. They wasn't talking like that. They wasn't talking about like trying to help people get better with not doing these things that's going on in our city. But they was real good at talking about, like, your butt gonna go to jail. And a lot of you parents ain't gonna like what I do this time, because when your kids out there breaking the laws and stuff like that, we gonna basically send them to that pond. A lot of y'all might not realize the prison is nothing but a big old slave camp. I didn't understand that. I didn't realize that for years. And I didn't understand it until I got into this fight, fighting for our people. That it's about the 13th Amendment, right? Because I had to start it understanding a little bit of the civil rights, equal rights, constitutional rights, and all that type of stuff, right? So when you break the law, let me just say this: when you break the law, that's the only time they can actually practice slavery on you again, because you broke the law, and that's part of your punishment. That's why the system is getting as big as it is, because so many people breaking the law rather than being like taught how to not be so destructive in life. They don't address the root issues of why people do what they do. You know. Now, I'm one of the guys with Communities United. We helped Bill Henry, and it was another guy named Jason something, right? And they wrote a bill they didn't know they was creating the same kind of bill for slumlords, which is landlords that's not licensed to become licensed landlords, in order to hold on to their property and do what they do. But anyway, the thing was for them to bring the thing is not was is for them to bring their property up to code, because the a lot of I'm gonna say our council members and stuff like that, so elected officials, they believe that the reason why our kids' behaviors was off the hook or the chain is because of the lead, the mold and the rat droppings, which affecting our children behaviors. So that's why they want landlords now to bring their property up to code. Like those issues that you having, and not just landlords. It was Section 8, HUD housing, and all of that. Any say like contaminated properties that people was living in. It was the landlords or the property managers' job is to get that property up to code. Because a guy was down there when we was at the town hall meeting. He was down there from, I'm gonna say, like HUD housing, and he was talking about because they gave him a certain amount of time to get the property up to code. They need more time because they deal with more property. It's not that they didn't want to do the work. Then it was one lady there that had rental property, and she came out her mouth, and this was like a white lady. Why do I gotta fix my houses up for them to live in? As far as they don't need to live in nothing better than what they doing. And those wasn't the words that she actually used, but kind of sum it up some. Because when I got up to speak, I jumped straight at her. Because it was more like, by not being smart, but by her being a white woman and black people living in her property, they don't deserve nothing better than that. In so many words. So I kind of like leaped there because I started realizing too just how some people who's doing good for themselves. And I was getting ready to say that never struggled like a lot of us did in life, being younger, older now. But anyway, some of them tend to forget where they came from too, because they made it now. So they look down on people that's still down. Well, guess what? Because I know I live a good life. I live a good life. But I still go back out to help people who haven't lived a privileged life to me like I lived. Nowhere in the world I thought by the time I turned 58, I would be retiring from trucking. Because my goal was to work until I was at least in my 70s or something. Because as far as the peddling freight, because I'm moving around a lot, that would have took a toll on me. That's where my mind was at. So my thing was I can still do this, but I'll do more like dropping hooking. And I still make good money. I never imagined myself at 58 years old backing up and retiring from trucking. And the reason why I'm saying that because you know I I ain't realized I was going to get the money that I get for retirement, and I'm not at full retirement yet. I'll just slide right into it. So I mean, be honest, I can live pretty good off of what I get, and still manage to take care. I just got off the phone with my daughter, picking with my daughter because the day is her birthday, and she riding, she riding. I asked her how much she wanted for her birthday. I ain't gonna tell you how much she said she wanted. Uh, but I told her, I said, yeah, you it's like you grown now. You ain't that little girl no more. You ain't 21 no more. So now you 22. So basically, you gotta start taking care of yourself. Well, she doing it anyway. Don't get me wrong. She's this her fourth year in college to be a lawyer. She go to Hood College right now, but once she hit that fourth year, I think she go into the law stuff. Actually, I don't know how they really go, but the next 4 years she will be spending it into like really I guess understanding the laws and how you apply the laws, stuff like that, right? But she said she's going to go to the University of Maryland Law School, and I was like, good, because that way we know she home, so we don't have to pay for like a dorm and all that type of stuff for her because she'll be right in Baltimore City. She want a brand, basically the car she been looking at was like a 2018 Honda Accord, something like that, right? And I'm trying to tell my daughter that by the like a year or two from now, when you're ready to get it, it's gonna be a year or two off, the years that you would want it for. So she trying to stay under 18,000, but she got her heart and her mind set on this Honda Accord type, you know, car that she wants. She already know what she want, how she want it, and all that, which I'm really proud of her. Because my thing is, stick to what you like and what you want. Because no matter what I was trying to tell her, my thing is right now you might, because her engine in her car blew up, the one she took from me that was given to me. But anyway, I'm going to price another engine and get the guy to put it in there. But on top of that, that's because, I'm my other daughter got my car and I'm riding in the white truck. So I don't go nowhere that much unless it's kind of important in the white truck. Because I try not to move it as much. It's a historic truck, so you're not supposed to do a lot with it. But anyway, I'm looking at other cars now, because my son needs something now. My daughter gonna need something. So I'm glad she's making the decision once she graduate this year to start at the University of Maryland. So now my mind going off, where can we get, not just at her mother and I, because the parents tend to get money from places to help their children with their college fund, with paying their college. So my thing is with us, reaching out to people that know where that money at, that free money that they can get to pay for college. White people know a lot of that good stuff. Black people know too, but they won't share it with you because it seems like they don't want you to get a little teeny step ahead of them. So they rather for you stay back, stay back. They don't want to share with you, they don't want to share. That ain't how I carry it. Because if I know somebody like Miss Brooks, she's real good with writing grants and all this type of stuff, and she want to teach other people how to apply for whatever, say like your nonprofit or your organization is. You have to send that application to them that's actually working. I mean, that actually believe in that type of nonprofit or program that you have. Because yeah, you can send money to any and everybody, and if they give it to you, that's awesome. But I started asking around why it's so hard for people to get grant money, and then I was told it was because of the grant writers. But now they don't have a good grant writer. But now talking with Miss Brooks, she know a lot of programs out there or organization itself or philanthropists and stuff like that that will actually give you the money that believe in your project or your organization. They will give you the money to help you grow. And see, that's where I'm at with the stuff that I do. But let me slide back a little bit more because y'all know I talk and I kind of go far up. But anyway, I'm sitting up there listening to everybody the other day, y'all. And somebody asked me, what did I think about Ivan Bates and the stuff that Ivan Bates, I said, oh, Ivan Bates gonna lock some people up. Because he's serious. But see, my thing is, we can lock them up, but nobody's being educated on how to reform them. The prison is not like that no more. That's well, some years ago it's supposed to have been like for rehab and stuff like that. That they not learning anything to come home and be more productive and responsible now. You figure you give them time that they going to sit back, right, and be like, well, I ain't gonna do this no more. I ain't gonna do that no more. And that's the way people will carry it. But you got to understand, if you don't know how to help people change them old ways of thinking, getting rid of those old habits, and that's not something that happened overnight. I can tell you that right now. For a person that's coming up now on 30 years clean, I had to change my old ways of thinking. I had to change my old ways of doing things. I had to change people, places, and things. Most of all, my family, because I got high with my family. So I had to separate myself in order for me to live a more productive way of life. And right now, to this day, with almost 30 years clean, I don't go over all my family members' houses like I used to. Well, everybody grown now with their own kids and stuff. I might pop up here and there picking with people. But I'm so addicted to this way of life now. You know, changing your old ways of thinking. People, places, and things, and all this type of stuff. And guess what? One thing I had to learn about me, and I'm gonna tell you this, I'm a very sensitive guy. I'm a very emotional guy. And I do not tell me, oh, you shouldn't feel like this, or you shouldn't think like that. I think I should compared to how I used to be. You know that little 14-year-old that shot Tim? I ain't had no problem when I was 14 taking you down. But the stuff that we did back then, it wasn't for us to kill you if we had shot you or done some things to you. It was more like to wound you or teach you a lesson. More like to put fear in you. Now, guess what? I won't share a lot of that unless you send me there. And I'll tell you, people be like, where he got a gun from? A lot of people don't understand that the goal is to wipe out the black race. And they pouring a lot of stuff into the inner city communities and they taking a lot of stuff out. When I say pouring in, I'm talking about like the drugs, like the guns. And when I say drugs, I'm talking about on the level of fentanyl and all that stuff. Because the whole goal is to wipe the black race out as much as they can. I never paid attention to that until Freddie Gray got killed. And this white man sent me something saying, this is what's happening to your people. And it was called Marfa 21 Black Genocide. And when he sent it to me, I was like, you mother blacker, blacker, blacker. But I started reading into it. I did not know Hitler killed as many black people as he killed the Jews. I didn't know. Then this lady, Margaret Sanger, right? She was giving a lot of black women out of wedlock that was having a lot of kids. She was starting to give them abortions. So she was trying to catch them, the ones that had like two. And then now she would give them abortions. But now check this out. They called her a modern day Hitler. We can look at it in that sense too. But we can look at it in the sense where she was trying to help slow down the black race as well. When I read into that article or that book or that documentary, it was talking about only 10% of the Native American is still around. 10%. Move, Tammy. Get off my stuff. 10% of the Native American is still around. Now, mind you, I'm reading Native American and I'm thinking African, African American, And I was like, oh my God, that's the Indian. Because I noticed, I'm just when from younger coming up, right? You used to see him in their attire and all that, the Indian hats and outfits and anyway, that's where my mind was at. And then I was sharing this with a guy that remember Margaret Sanger, and he said he was telling me that because he remembered that story too. He was older, so he knew, He said a lot of them start migrating into other races because I realized that I wasn't seeing a lot of Indians around, mainly because I'm focusing on I don't want to just disrespect the uniform or anything, but the tar, their the caps and whatever they wore. It's like my words won't come together, but y'all know what I'm saying. Just just take it there for me. And I was like, oh my God, a lot of y'all might not know that it's like a hit out on blacks, browns, immigrants, and the LGBT, or is for cultures that the elite or the Europeans, you know, trying to get rid of. But then as I read through this article or that documentary, it was talking about how not just the white man is setting the black people up to just kill each other off. It was a lot of conservative black people too. Now, mind you, it's talking about people with money. And what that did for me, it took me back to 1619. Now, calculate your years, right? Because they talk about it was 400 years of slavery. It was not. From 1619 to 1835. Count your years. It's 200 and about 40 years, 40 something years that slavery was practiced. And a lot of people don't realize too, check it out. Black people was here all along anyway. But they thought the black race started just from the people coming from Africa. No. Do your history. It was black slave owners too, because they was property owners. And if you really understand the word of slavery, it's a form of cheap labor. So guess what? White people got hung alongside black people too. If you read your history, you'll understand a lot of that. The reason why I started digging a lot more into that, when I was down Middle River. When I went to Middle River and I met the Myers, I went down to see how I could help the black community deal with the racism that went on and that was going on in like Middle River and stuff like that. A lot of y'all now, once I went in and I was listening to some other people that grew up with Vince and the Myers and them. Because understand, they've been serving their community for like 17 years now. But it was 15 at the time. So it was the people that helped their business grow. And you mean to tell me y'all ain't know all these years that these people was racist? Come on, y'all better wake the freak up. So anyway, it was some more to that. Because people was setting them up to appear as racist. But they was mad at Vince's father. Because Vince's father wouldn't help them and acting like the seafood restaurant they was trying to open was a part of his stuff. So that people will, they wanted him to come in, help him set it up, and then move out the way. But y'all don't see, y'all don't do your work. You tend to jump right on people's bandwagon without doing the research for yourself. So when I went down there, and a lot of y'all got mad at me because y'all actually thought I was like justifying their behavior. No. But I kept trying to tell y'all, it was Darnell, and it was other people that began to see the truth of what was going on. And they started backing off of the protesters because they started seeing it was some shady stuff going on. But y'all fed into it. So all of a sudden I become this Uncle Tom and Uncle Fred and Uncle this one and Uncle that one. And, y'all decided y'all wanted to come for me. But I was only going down there to try to get with the president of the neighborhood or the community association to find out how to talk with them, really, to see how we can go about helping the black people in dealing with the racism. I was telling y'all all that. But I was Uncle Ruckus, I was this, I was that, I was y'all. I mean, y'all came for me. And it was okay. Because one thing, I'm going to stand firm on what I believe in. But if I see something different down the line, I will come back and apologize that I didn't see certain things at a certain time. But from the information y'all that was given to y'all, they was going at the Vince because the statement he made on his Instagram page or one of them pages that they went back, what, 8 years ago? Something like that during that time. And pulled out that information in the here and now. So it made it seem like it was something that was said just about right now, even though, and it's no different with him than anybody else. A lot of people was with George Zimmerman for killing Trayvon. I'm sorry. A lot of people was with that, you know, but a lot of us and white people too was totally against it because he was wrong. He was out of order. So he made a statement. But y'all understand this. They grew up in Middle River, so they was raised up with a lot of the people that was in there telling them. And it was only two that I focused on. One boy said, "Man, I grew up with you. I never knew you was racist." And I said he wasn't, because he would have been known. And then this lady came in and she said, "I've been knowing y'all for like 15 years. I never do this and I never do that." Because people fixed, because sometimes when people tell you stuff, and some of us is so freaking dumb that we'll go off of your stuff rather than checking things out for ourselves. I never been like that. I never been like that. I gotta really see things for myself so I can have a better understanding of should I stand or walk away. But that's not y'all. Y'all will sit back and the moment somebody put out something negative, y'all on it like water on the fight. Real simple. And I watch us. You got people like myself that put his life on the line to help us try to work on Baltimore City and do things, and y'all will sit back and look at everything I do and make me think I'm the worst person you ever want to meet. No, no, because a lot of us are sitting around watching our city fall apart, and just because it didn't hit you directly or your family, you look the other way. Just like I try to explain to our politicians or when we out and stuff like that, the reason why people not telling because they won't get no protection to be an eyewitness. And then you know the old saying, snitches get stitches, right? So if you have if people, I believe this deep in my heart. If because I was looking at the commissioner the other day, right? And I finally had a chance to talk to him. I'm like, "You remember me?" He said, "Yeah, I remember." Yeah, he know me. I know he know me. Cause when they got rid of the eye in the sky, I asked him, I said, why did y'all do that to that man? That man came here. The owners was gonna pay for that plane to be up for 3 years. And a lot of y'all, I watched Brandon Scott and I watched Christopher Burnett talk against the plane, and Brandon Scott was one of the ones that was for the plane at the time. But he started doing the opposite because Mayor Pugh, a lot of y'all ain't know, Mayor Pugh had asked Archie to speak on it, and she was supposed to have his back. She turned his back on him. I laid her out. I laid her out. But see, y'all won't do that. Y'all won't do that. But y'all will get mad at me because I'm real. But I'm the problem. And that's what I begin to see with a lot of us. I'm the problem. I'm not the problem. I ain't nothing like I used to be before God turned me, took that desire from me. Nothing. And a lot of times, believe me, when I had to go confront certain things, I didn't know how stuff was gonna turn out, but I never been a punk. That's the thing too. I never been a punk. When I was out there, I never played, and I did stuff by myself because that's how my brothers taught me. Don't never let your right hand know what your left hand doing. You will never hear me threaten nobody because if I'm gonna do something, I don't want you to know I'm gonna come at you. That was back then. You see why I said people taught me how to change my old ways of thinking? I had to change people, places, and things. I'm a very sensitive man. I'm a very emotional man, and don't none of y'all ever tell me you shouldn't feel like this, because it's not like I want to feel like that. I'm just a caring person. But if you all into your ego and your pride and a brick fall on your head and I see you bleeding like crazy and I say something to you, you be like, I'm all right. You know what? Let a brick fall on my head. You see me bleeding like crazy. I'm probably scream out like a little white girl or a white woman. And don't care what you think. Cause if it hurt, it hurts. That's what I'm trying to say. I ain't like a lot of us to act like stuff don't bother them. That's why we can't reach the people that's pained up because y'all will sit back with your intellectual self, with your unsensitized self, and you will make a person feel bad just for expressing their feelings and emotions and use that as a sign of weakness. And it's not. It's being honest, it's being true to thyself. But so many guys, and I check it out, I check it out. You can act tough all you want, but I will see right through that. Because I know for us, it's a certain image we portray when we hurting inside. I'm sitting up there looking at this guy Twitch, right? Always dancing, always doing this, always doing that. But the guy commits suicide. And I'm like, nobody knew he was dealing with like depression or he was dealing with these type of issues. Nobody knew. You just don't wake up one day and say, "Oh, I'm gonna just go blow my head off." No, it's you contemplate it, you think about it over time, and then you end up doing it at some point. But every time I see him dancing, joyful, free, and I'm like, nobody noticed this man was hurt. His closest friends, his wife, his family, y'all did not know. You just don't wake up one day and be like, well, I'm gonna just go kill myself. And all the theories that's supposed to be surrounding this, right? You don't do it. Anybody that have suicidal thoughts normally dealing with mostly most of the time depression, or they like backed up into a corner where they feel like they, you know, can't come out happy, joyous, and free. So that's when you start thinking about doing the opposite of stuff. How I know? Because I've been there at one point. That's why I walked away from my wife 9 years ago. Because I wanted to drive that tractor trailer off the bridge. Because I was in so much mental and emotional pain. That's why you never, I don't give a freak who you are, with anybody that's trying to express themselves. If it seems like they whining and all this type of stuff, if that's what they gotta do just to get it up off them, listen sometimes. Because there's something deeper going on underneath. That's why a lot of y'all are lost your damn selves. Not being smart, y'all are lost. You let somebody like me come on the couch conversation, the truth and nothing but the truth. You want to try to judge me. I don't care. Because guess what? As long as I know, well, not that I know, a lot of times I don't know, but deep in my heart, I know that no matter how I come on, is somebody somewhere need to hear what I got to say. They might be at that point of wanting to take their self out and have the head, got the phone right there, and they hearing this big bald head dude mouth just to get them to encourage just for that moment not to do what they was planning on doing. See, y'all don't see that. I learned a long time ago. I tried to reach the multitude. I wanted everybody, oh yeah, ooh, ah, ah, wow. Nope. If I can just help one person, and I know that's all God asks of me. I don't know who I might be saying something to that need to actually hear what I'm saying. I don't know. But I know whenever I open up my mouth, somebody need to hear it, and it might not be you because you gonna try to tear apart what I'm saying. So you know it ain't you when you start doing that. But it's somebody that need to hear it, and I might not never know who it was. And it's okay. I was always told don't pay attention to the viewers because guess what? My stuff is public. So my stuff is seen all over wherever we broadcast to. If I can just help one, and I would love to be able to help everybody. I would love to be able to lift my hand and heal the world and stuff like that. But no, I ain't no daggone Jesus. I ain't Jesus. Or some of y'all, what martyrs and stuff like that y'all lift up beside Christ. You know, I know everybody don't believe that Jesus was God in the flesh and all. That's fine. Move, Tammy. Coming over here rubbing on my feet. Move. Move. You heard me. Move. Trying to ease back over here. Move. I wish y'all could see it. She like laying on her back, right? Sliding her body over to my feet. Don't be looking up here at me. Just because I'm talking to it. But anyway, I've been trying to fix my pages, right? Um, I didn't cut on my. Let me see. Can I go in here real quick just to see, like how many of my uh, s- I'm screwing it up. But my restream now, um, uh, they connect me with Instagram now too. So I'm trying to embed the Instagram into my restream channel. What's up, Keith buddy? I'm trying to do that as well. Vimo, I'm already going live to like Twitch, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and I'm doing 2 Facebooks. I think I put 3 of them in because I got like 3 pages. I put Stevie Copeland in, which my a new Baltimore. Lavelle Copeland is actually part of Facebook. That's like my Facebook page actually. But I use Stephen Copeland at Yahoo .com right, not realizing that it's Yahoo. So it's not really Facebook. It's Facebook, but it's not under that because of my Yahoo.com. You got me? And I didn't know that until later. Now my Lavelle Copeland is actually like my Facebook thing. Excuse me, y'all. But but so that one I'm broadcasting live to. I'm broadcasting live to Lavelle Copeland. I'm broadcasting live to a new Baltimore, which is one of my Facebook pages as well. And because of that, because of my Stephen Copeland 909 at yahoo.com, and they are my pages, you could still see my live there too. But I'm actually on a new Baltimore, Lavelle Copeland. And I just embedded Steve Copeland in to see if it'll live stream to there too. Because now my other ones I have, and I'm trying to get over to it now because I just want to look and see, did I put them in right? Because if not, I'm gonna have to find somebody that actually know how to do this. Why I say close? My stuff ain't go off, did it? No. Oh, I was looking at what I was trying to look at what you had put up, Keith. Now, I don't want to end up clicking my live stream straight on because I'm on my tablet now, right? I got I got it on my tablet, my regular laptop computer. Then I have another laptop that if I have to start doing my streaming from, then I'll do that. But I'm trying to mix my stream in with my restream.com. So that way, once I come on like this, I will start broadcasting out to 15 other platforms with Restream. And then I will start broadcasting to, oh, you're not going to let me go in here. I will start broadcasting to 25 channels. And that's live TV. Yep. See, I ain't getting it right. Yep. My Baltimore is streaming. My new Baltimore is streaming. My Daily Motion is saying sending data, but for some reason, I think with my Daily Motion, I ended up because I noticed I have a second. It's like I'm restreaming to myself, and I think that's the daily stream that's sending me some kind of way. I got it coming back to me, but my I'm on Yahoo. I mean YouTube. Is Stephen Copeland Jr. I mean Stephen Copeland Sr. I'm sorry. So I'm on YouTube, right? If you just look up the couch conversation, you can find me. Just remember that. Strengthening the community or the couch conversation, somewhere like that. I'm on Google too. So I'm on Google and it will tell you all the other social media sites I'm on as well. If you go on Google, it'll tell you about my business and all of that. I be trying to get people to go to my website where if you want to learn anything about the business, because people will call me. People call me thinking that I'm a shelter because it has me underneath of that, right? But I'll explain to them I'm not a shelter, but I try to help provide shelter as far as a place for you to go. That's all. So I had to break it down to some people. But yeah, my yacht, right now while I'm on here, I'm streaming straight to YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. That's the Lavelle Copeland. It says the couch conversation. And then I got Twitch, right? Now my new Baltimore, a new Baltimore rebuilding our city, for some way I got that in. I got that one in. So I'm streaming to like 6 platforms now. And I'm trying to get my Navarre TV in, but it's telling me to say unable to connect. And it'll try to send a message, but then it'll come back if it won't connect. So, but what it tells me at Navarre TV is say the title setup isn't supported for this platform. But I was talking to the people at Restream, and the guy says that even though they don't support the title, we can stream to those stations like that anyway, platforms. Then I have FC2, and I wish I could tell y'all the whole name of it, right? But what I do, I'll go on it and I'll read a little bit about it. So as long as I know they do like live streams, and most of them might have like the couch conversation, or they might be doing stuff in the community. So this is the way they broadcast, because the goal is to, try to get more resources in helping me do what I do, since I realized y'all don't really want to help. So, and then I got Vaughn Tech, which is part of the 30 other platforms with Restream that you can stream out to. So I got Vaughn, I got Keiko TV. Then I put my stream in, but for some reason it's not connecting to my stream TV. But once I'm able to connect my stream TV in, You see how I'm talking to y'all now? So I'll be able, once I come on, everything will be streaming from where I'm at right now. It'll go all out to my 15 platforms, and in my stream I have channels. So say like if you want to come on, if you want to be a part of what I'm doing, you can get a slot. Like you can do a live at a certain time, or you can do your recording at a certain time, and you can send it over to the channel. You know what I mean? And what it does, because I have it on reschedule. So say like your stuff show at 3 o'clock, it'll show again like about 5 or 6 or 7. Maybe an hour or two later. And then in between that, I'll be able to put commercials in my own. But right now, what I'm doing, because I'm with Google, I'm trying to let Google come in now with, with advertisements or commercials in between shows and stuff. So I'm looking at this thing because right now, just like with Lady J, she started her own thing and networking, and you know all of that is Lady J. Now, with me, I had to jump with certain platforms until I get a better understanding of what to do. Matter of fact, me and Lady J was talking, so I know if I need to come over to her, I can come over and do the same things too. But sooner or later, because I know where God is, in a sense, where God is taking me, I probably would have my own network sooner or later. But my goal is trying to reach out for a personal building anyway. And now if you hear me saying it like it's something, if I go me, my, I, whatever, I'm just speaking of self, but it's not me. Because I don't know what the freak I'm doing, but it's like God is doing it. That's all I can say. God is doing it. It's not me. I don't care how people look at me. Stop looking at me as the person, because I know a lot of y'all who share the same love and compassion for helping out people the way I do. It's personal too for you, but you want people to kind of do things the way you want it done, and that's where a lot of the conflicts come in at. Because my thing is, we come together. Do not stop doing what you're doing. Don't stop it. So say like I might be at a point where I need y'all to come and help me, with certain little things that I'm doing. Because we're still walking down the same path. We come together. You might need that moral support and business support, and then we come together. Keith might need it over here. So we come together. But when we all just try to, we want everybody, because see, everybody ain't, how can I say this? Because I was going to say everybody's not going to believe in your vision. But that's not what I want to say, because the ones that believe in your vision and what you're doing are the ones going to actually help you to make that vision come true. That's why we get volunteers and stuff like that. Because if somebody really believe in what we're doing, they willing to work with us to see it come through. So with me, it's like building a whole team again. But my thing with that, if I make money, I'm telling you right now, if I make money, whoever with me, you gonna make money. You gonna make money. I'm not sitting up here trying to suck up everything and you just come along for nothing. No, because in this, and years and years and years of doing this, yeah, my heart is in it. This is my passion, whether I get paid or not. But I understand now it's a business too. So I have to learn. I'm beginning to have to learn to separate the two, because I take on a lot of my clients and it's personal. But then it's like some people take what I do for granted, and then they want to, Now I ain't trying to be smart, but I'm gonna say this. In one of my houses, people been cooking, and they've been leaving their pots and pans dirty on the sink. Now everybody else, because they didn't do it, they're not cleaning it up. But the people that's doing it pointing at the people upstairs in the back. And now when you try to point the fingers at Mary and her daughter, no, I know Stephanie and her mother cleans up. They always done that. So it's a lot of them in the house. And then I got a young guy now I call my nephew. He'll cook, but he gonna make sure he clean up after himself. I already know that. And then we got a couple of more that I know that does that. So I was really trying to narrow it down. Cause when I went in somebody's room, their room looked just like their sink. And I started telling them, you cannot live like that in here. Clean this mess up. The clothes that you can't fit, get ready to throw them out. Because you're not gonna have all this piled up in here like you living out on the streets. Okay. So I seen some dishes in there. I said, okay. And then I got other people in the house. And my thing is, when I was coming around, I kept the dust down and all of that. So then I got the other house that I got to focus on too. But you got a bunch of grown-ups over here that's not being productive or cleaning up after themselves. So the reason why I'm saying this, because I told them, I went in one day with some bleach. Everybody know they supposed to buy their own bleach, deodorant, soap, toilet paper, all of that. I just make sure they keep a roof over their head by paying the bills, right? Well, anyway, I went and got me some bleach. I went and got me some dish detergent because I like bleach in my, and I started washing things off and putting them back in the cabinets the way they supposed to be. And I told them, I said, this is what I'm gonna do. If I keep coming in here and I see track dishes piled up on the sink or pots and pans, I said they're going in the trash. So I cleaned it all up, wiped them all out, put plates in the cabinets and forks and spoons in the rack that I got in the cabinet. You know, because I'm setting an example for them since they act like they don't know what to do. So I come in there another day. It was some cups on the sink. It was a bowl, couple of bowls. They in the trash. hmm So I go in there today. Two frying pans. hmm They in the trash. And the plate. I said pretty soon y'all gonna be eating out of paper plates. Because every time I walk in this house, and I don't care who doing it. I don't care who doing it. And it's a shame that other people will have to suffer for that. But my thing is if y'all can't work together and make sure it's done right, then y'all ain't gonna have something to cook on or drink out of. Unless you buy it and keep it in your room. So I know you're gonna clean it and take it into your well once you do what you do. And guess what? I ain't wipe them out this time. Whatever that was in there, whatever that was in the dish rack thing, my thing is wipe clean up after yourself. If everybody clean up after themselves and put that stuff away, I shouldn't be saying nothing right there. Soaking in water or nothing. Because you know other people got to come behind you. If you're going to use a pan and you think it's okay to leave it there dirty, then they ain't going to come down and wash it out to cook out of it. So it was one in the dish rack that went in the trash too. And one of the big knives. I ain't playing. Like I told him, I'm not playing. The goal is for y'all to come in, get the necessary help in turning your lives around. If you don't know how to cook, if you don't know how to clean, if you don't know how to wash your clothes, and this is what my mental health care group supposed to be all about with the PRPs and stuff like that, is to help y'all learn how to be more responsible and productive. But you will not come in my household. I'm talking about my program. And then don't do the necessary things to turn your life around. Then you holding up so many other people out there that need housing or need somewhere comfortable to live. And I'm almost at my hour. So I'm trying not to go too far over that. But I just want to say I love y'all. and I wanted to come on and talk a little bit about I'm at my hour. Maybe give me 5 more minutes, right? But Ivan Bates, you know I love you, bro. Commissioner Harrison, that made me feel good when you said you remember me because you know I'm serious about, you know, the crime rate, the homicide rate in Baltimore City. You know, Commissioner Harris, my heart is for the eye in the sky. You know that. And the reason why I am for the eye in the sky, y'all, because to me, when our criminals go out there and commit that violent criminal behavior or homicide stuff like that, it's your behavior. Because that plane will collect the evidence. The sad part about it, you gotta commit the crime. But it's stuff that we can do, like promote the plane, advertise, 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 to let people know that if you continue doing these practicing these type of behaviors, nobody got to snitch on you. Nobody have to put their life on the line. Your behavior is going to tell on you. You're going to snitch on yourself. So the snitch wait the snitch that gets stitches, you gonna be the one. Cause your behavior tell on yourself. I tell our young guys that all the time. I understand you hustling to try to make money. If look, if you like 17, 18, 19, you want to go back to school, let's get you back into school, get you in the job corps, get you into apprenticeship program. I'm just saying as we go up the line. Older guys with felonies and stuff like that. Do you know if you get federally bonded, you can get some fair or good paying jobs, making more than $15 an hour. But a lot of them don't know who will work with them or what. I seen Bilal out there the other day, and Bilal was talking about a long time ago, like working with people with trying to get certain things off the books. That's making it harder for ex offenders to get a job or a decent job. If you have a felony as far as robbing banks, you might can't get a job in the bank or finance department again, something like that, right? But you can get you another job as a felon, but maybe not in that field, something like that. And see, little stuff I learned because I'm not a criminal like that. Never was. Never been to jail for nothing I did. Only the little look like central book and the little holding place, right? And mm. But anyway, I had seen him and I said, "What is your name?" And then I reminded him of what caught my attention with him because he was one of the of I don't know if he was actually was he ever actual politician or something like that or but I know that's how I kind of met him in a sense of him creating some laws where you know or trying to fix it where they would overlook like people criminal background in order for them to get a job. And a lot of felonies can be shielded too. And the only people that can see that basically is the police department. But a lot of like jobs cannot see your paper that's sealed. But guess what? You gotta know who to go to. I got a number for the PO. It's PO, the PO program. And this is their specialty, working with like ex-offenders too. Archie. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Marlo and the Archie, my church members. But that's what they do. They work with returning citizens and stuff. What's her name? Janet Graham. Janet Graham, because I think she getting a lot of flow now, a lot more people coming in. She works with like returning citizens. She go to Jessup. She goes all over to these prisons because when people get ready to get released, they're coming to her program. She'd get him a room, you know, like with what I'm doing, but she gets him a job too. So she's dealing with 7x7s and all those other type of groups like that, which little by little now, I like to know who's who. So when I talk with people, I know what direction to guide you in. Now, I slacked up on a lot of stuff, y'all, because I'm getting a little bit older, and my biggest fear is taking on a lot of stress and you know having a stroke or something like that along the line. But I love our people, y'all, and I just want to see us do better. I'm 60 years old. I'll be 61 February the 20th. I'm so blown away, y'all, because when I look at myself at 60, I'm like, God dang it, I never, ever, ever thought I would get to be this old. I don't have nothing to complain about, to be honest with y'all. I done shot dope, I done shot cane, I done did the alcohol, I done all of that. I done slept with multiple and multiples younger females. I try not to make sure they was under 18. That's what I told R. Kelly. No, but seriously though, I like younger females. Y'all that knows me know. And basically, one day I might grow up and mess with something near my age, but that's just my bull junk, y'all. That's just my stuff. I never really dated women my age, even when I was younger. So, I you got to turn me on. I'm not gonna sit here and say, "Well, I'll sleep with it and everything." I did a lot of that too, but as I begin to get older, it was the attraction. So I got my little hour in and some change, and I'm gonna say this again, Ivan Bates. I love you, bro. I wish you much success. Um, People ask me, they say, "What you think about Ivan Bates?" I say, "Ivan Bates gonna send everybody to jail. You do the crime, you're gonna do the time." And I understand that. But Ivan Bates know my heart too when it comes to trying to help reduce a lot of the criminal activity in Baltimore City. I'm talking about the out of whack stuff. Commissioner Harris, I'm gonna tell you right now too. I love you, bro. I did when Commissioner Harris was at our church one time when Andrew Muhammad and them was out there. They came out and some other police, Jeffrey Suter and all that too. I said Suter, Jeffrey Short. And a lot of people know I fight. They know what I do groundwork wise in Baltimore City. And I know their hands are tied when it comes to certain things because they all about the law. And my goal is trying to implement ways and means that we can put the people that's out there doing destructive stuff into a better or safer line of work as far as helping them turn their lives around and putting their lives in perspective, you know what I mean, in order. So that's what I'm trying to get to with that, y'all. So when I was listening to them the other day, and I understood one thing, I understood about everybody, and oh, please don't let me mess your name up because she reached out to me. Please, 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 please. Ooh, I'm trying to get her name. Our lieutenant. Wait a minute. No, 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 no. I think she went at the Marilyn Mosby too. Ooh, I'm trying to get her name because she was the only female on the panel. And I told her, I said, I made my way up here to hug you. Because me and her was talking on Twitter. And we got to talking about, like, I was talking about Lil Steve play soccer, and I think one of her sons played soccer. But they was at the time when we was talking, Lil Steve wasn't in college then. But I think they further off now with their stuff. But oh my God, let me get that. Isabel. I'm sorry, Isabel Cumming. And I told her, I said I was not gonna miss this. I wasn't gonna miss it basically because I'm based, but I would have chilled out. But once I knew she was there, I said, "Oh my God, I gotta go," because I wanted her to know actually who I am, and she understand the work I do in Baltimore City too. So it's a lot of our politicians and people knows where my heart is at when it comes to Baltimore City, and I shared some stuff with her, and she said she'll be reaching out to me towards helping the homeless people and the less fortunate people and stuff like that, because I need people like homeless services, like HUD housing. I need y'all to work with me, and that's why I signed back up with Communities United, because I know they do protests towards housing. They fight for the people in Baltimore City. They fight for the black population in Baltimore City. That's the branch of the come on now. When I go in my head, that's why Sometimes I had to think, rather if I come from my spirit, it'll just flow. But it's called popular, the Center for Popular Democracy. They just don't, in Baltimore City, I call it the baby branch of the NAACP. That's what I call Communities United. But it's the people. I'm telling y'all now. Stop telling yourself. I'm telling y'all now. Black man, black woman. Stop telling yourself that the amendments or the constitutional rights will not work for us. That's not true. That's not true. But it's not going to work if we don't come together and make them change some stuff. And that's what I begin to understand when I joined Communities United. I begin to understand we have to come together as a race of people and come together. You got people that know how to write legislations and bills or stuff, and we get it on the ballot or we get it into position. The amendments can be ratified. That was another word that I learned. They can be ratified to kind of suit or favor, I'm gonna say, a certain population or culture of people. So if you're thinking that it doesn't work, it will work. It takes work. That's what we got to understand. You got to fight for the things you want in life. And I'm talking from the level of a guy with a 10th grade experience. My wife told me last grade I completed was the ninth. I almost smacked her around. But it never stopped me from moving forward in life when I wanted, because my thing, I always been a go-getter. That's just the way my mother taught me. And I feel like this. The only person hold you back is you. We can say the white man this and the white man that and the white man, and yeah, it's probably not probably, but it's the white man. There's a lot of black men too, and women that don't want to see you be successful. If y'all stand where I'm at, and you'll better understand what I'm talking about. Because this a lot of black people don't want to see us poor people or people that's in the ghetto that's doing bad. I moved away from the Republican Party, and I don't care whether y'all like it or not, because I found out they wasn't really trying to help the inner city poor people, which actually the Democrats are the ones that's supposed to fight for the democracy of poor people, black, brown, immigrants, and the LGBT. Look at what they supposed to do. Read up on it. The Republican Party, see, they want to cut out a lot of these government programs because they want people to learn how to be more independent or stand up on their own. That's what I begin to understand, which is okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And I was all right with that. But I realized they was full of crack too. Because know why? It's all about legislations. It's all about bills. So my thing is y'all talk a good game, but what programs or what is y'all doing out there? Like myself, with strengthening the community, a new Be More city to help turn things around. See, a lot of them, they into the politics part of stuff. But when it comes to the people on the lower level, you left behind. You left behind. And I was getting ready to run on the Republican ticket. And the only reason why I was gonna run because I was getting out more and I was meeting more people. Our elected officials, Republicans or Democrats, whatever, in there, right? Even the Green Party, the Green Tea Party. You don't hear too much about them, right? But still. And then when I started seeing that the Republican Party, and I'm gonna tell y'all what turned me off from y'all. Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that. Donald Trump is a billionaire. A lot of the stuff that our poor people or people that really needs the help is going through, Biden and Donald Trump and most people that's living a conservative lifestyle or middle class lifestyle and you might have struggled throughout your life, but you became successful, then you forget about where you came from. And then you start looking down on the people. And then when you start talking about Jesus Christ, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Because if you knew what he was all about, he was for the people, motivating them, encouraging them, the ones that dealt with low self-esteem, building up their self-esteem. I watch what you do, not as much as what you say. So I started saying some stuff that I didn't really like. And I understand that people need to learn to take power and control over their own lives, and stuff like that. But you gotta understand, everybody wasn't put here to create a business or to be independent without needing the support of somebody else, business wise or something like that. I'm just putting it in that sense because you have your owners and you have your workers. If everybody was into that entrepreneurship and they was doing it by themselves because they didn't need employees and stuff, they wouldn't be as successful as they is now. Because look at Donald Trump. Donald Trump ain't become a billionaire by himself. No, 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 no. And most of your millionaires didn't become millionaires overnight by themselves unless they inherited. It's just like some of our pastors that start out with small churches, right? And now they dealing with mega churches because it's the flock, it's the people that started believing in their vision. If God laid a vision on them and you trust and believe in your pastor, you're going to help that vision come true from a small church to a bigger church to a mega church. You know what I mean? It's the congregation that does that. That's why a lot of y'all don't understand, because you don't understand the process of growth. My pastor started from a storefront church. Outgrew that, went up York Road. Outgrew that, went around Old York Road in the warehouse and redid that warehouse, him and the congregation. The construction workers, the men, the members. And he was talking about moving into another slot up there off of Lock Raven near Taylor Avenue, where the Lowe's is at. He was looking at getting that. It was like God gave him the vision, but it was like, I guess when he calculated everything or the finances that it would have took to go like that, it was a little bit much. So our church, if I'm not mistaken, cost about 6 million. So this probably would have been about 3 times, maybe four, that amount. But what my pastor did, this was before the coronavirus and all that type of stuff. He started breaking the services down. Same things with Jamal Bryant. Jamal Bryant might have had a 7 o'clock service, a 9 o'clock service, and then 11 o'clock service, because you had a lot of people that people would attend the 7 because by 9 they ready to go home and go to sleep, or So that's what you do to cater to I was getting ready to say the clients, right? But to the community, because it's the churches is for the community. It's building up in your community. But then you might have members of that church that come from all over. But it's basically for whatever community it's in. But when you begin to grow a mega church, like people like Eddie Long, what's his name? Creplo Dollar, TD Jakes and stuff like that. Y'all gotta understand, some of them probably, except for that guy, the Smiley one, they all started out like in a small place. I'm gonna just put it like that. And it was the congregation and how the work, the vision, the mission. Because when you following somebody that you truly believe that stand firm on the word of God, and they live in a prime example of how you want to be. I always say, when I grow up, you know, I call my pastor like the adult in the ministry, right? I'm like the teenager. I ain't the baby no more, but I'm like the teenager. So that's why I understand Jamal Brown a lot, because he still got a lot of growing to do. But Jamal Brown is an awesome man when it comes down to breaking down that word. He feed the flock. Now what they do with it, hey, but that's none of my business, because I know whatever that takes place in the body of Christ is meant to take place. Just like when Jamal Brown said something about the weed, right? I was looking at him and I was like, what? Wait a minute, I'm looking at him right now. I'm like, please tell me. I'm trying to see if it's a ventriloquist or something, because I'm like, but you got to understand where's mine at? And he caters to more, and not to be smart with it, the low to moderate people, the less fortunate. And I always say, Jamal Bryant, it's a lot of people that go to the clubs at night and they's at Jamal's church at 7 o'clock in the morning, and he will make them feel comfortable. And that's how it's supposed to be, because as time go on, when your spirit get convicted, that's when you change. You will begin to change because you're not living accordingly, and that shame and that guilt of trying to play both fences. You got me? I didn't understand a lot of this early on in my process. I remember trying to be perfect in my walk early on, but then I realized I was human, and being in this flesh, I will never be perfect. Jesus said it himself. He says, the sins you committed before you came to me are thrown into the sea of forgiveness. But then he said, yet, you are still sinners. But this time, when you sin, your sins are justified by his death. He knew we weren't going to be able to stop sinning in the flesh. He already knew that. He already knew. So guess what? I don't try to be perfect. I don't try to be in that sense. And if you really, really do your research on Christ, y'all know him and Mary Magdalene was married, got together like that. 2 children by Mary Magdalene. And when I started seeing this type of stuff, because God started moving me away from the traditional way of preachers and how they preach, and the Holy Spirit started showing me something totally different, I was like, oh my God, I would not speak on it, because I do not. And don't take it the wrong way. I don't want to twist the word and change it or nothing. But I started understanding through doing cross references and all, and mainly the Holy Spirit guiding me. A lot of the stuff I was reading and what God was revealing to me, I was like, wow. So Mark's story, Luke's story, John's story, Timothy's story, David's story, Abraham's story, that was more like their testimonies. And that's what I begin to understand. The same God that's guiding their lives was guiding mine. Like when Abraham lost his first wife and kids and all of that, God blessed him with twice as many in his second marriage. I had one daughter by my first wife. I got a son and a daughter by my second wife. And as I was reading through that story, his story, it took me back to my life. So I started seeing life experiences in the Bible. So for a lot of y'all to say, oh, it ain't real, the white man, this and that, or they fabricated, yeah, it's real. They are real life stories. But guess what? You might not see it like that because you too busy going off of somebody else's inspired information when you have your own. And that's what I have to understand. They was no different than me. That's why I talk about Steve Copeland. That's why I talk about how God came into my life and showed me how to live a better way of life. I don't try to quote scripture. I might say stuff, but at the time I might not realize that, you know, because some people tell me from the stuff I taught, it's like to some degree, to some people, it's like scripture oriented. But that's not, I mean, that's not how I see it. I mean, I don't tell you, well, and John said this and Luke said that. And early on in my walk now, don't get me wrong. I would tell you about other people's stories from the Bible and stuff like that. But then as I began to go through trials and tribulations and all that type of stuff, I was saying some things that they wasn't no different than me. God encourages me, God motivates me. What I say out my mouth is basically spiritually inspired, because I'm going to take you back to like the Old Testament, my old story. That's all it is. The Old Testament, your old testimony. Now you got a new story to talk about, your new testimony. And that's how God just started letting me see stuff just that simple. Just that simple.